Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Happy Monday to all of you. I hope you all had a good weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, channels that, not only prepper channels, but other channels as well, that warn people about what may be coming in the future. You know, they may say, hey, in 6 months this is going to happen, or it looks like this is going to happen in 6 months, or a year, or next year. And it's always next year. Next year this is going to happen. Next year this is going to happen. And you have your trolls out there and your people that are still sleeping always mocking you, saying, well, it's always going to be next year. It's going to be next year. Well, ladies and gentlemen, everything that we were talking about last year, not only me, it's not just me, but a whole bunch of other channels, everything that we were talking about last year has already passed, has come to be. Last year we were talking about food shortages, and there are food shortages worldwide. In the United States here specifically, I would say technically there isn't a food shortage, but there's enough of a shortage where the prices are pricing people out of food into foods that are a lot cheaper than the foods that they were normally used to, i.e. bringing down their standard of living, making them live a lesser life than they were able to live before. Fuel prices have gone up. The price of everything has gone up. So everything that we've forewarned about for the last whole year, it's come to be. So now we start looking at what's going to happen here in the near future and next year because of the things that we see coming ahead. And it's not only us. We're not making this stuff up. And if you don't want to listen, that's okay. Don't listen, because it is you that's going to suffer. But in a way, not listening and not taking action on the probability of something happening that will affect your standard of living is really a selfish act for two reasons. One, for your family, but two, also for your community. Because if you are in need, you're going to have to get help from somewhere. Where is that help going to come from? It's either going to be from your community, from your church. Hopefully you'll go to your church. From your family, which should be the first thing, and or from the state, i.e. all of those sources are not you, and it should be your responsibility to prepare for yourself and your family. You shouldn't have to count on someone else to provide you with those things that you need because you failed to listen. This is very alarming. Because with what's going on now, with what's happening with the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipeline, well, it's not with what's happening, it's with what's happened. It already happened. The ramifications of those gas pipes going down is going to be immense. I mean, people think natural gas. The first thing they think of is, oh, heating your homes. My goodness, natural gas has such an important part to play, not only in your economy, not only in industry, but also in the production of food as well. I'm no fan of the UN, absolutely not. But when they speak, you really have to listen, because usually they'll tell you what's going to happen ahead of time before it happens. You can call it whatever it is. You can call it them giving code to their elitist friends or whatever, telling them ahead of time, and one word really when it really means something else, all that kind of stuff. But I've learned that when they speak, usually what they're saying comes to be, especially if it is something of a negative nature. And here it says the perfect storm has arrived. I've been talking about this perfect storm for a while, and I've been called a kook a lot of times for saying we're going to have a perfect storm of a whole bunch of things coming together, coming to a climax, and then it's just going to be extremely bad. Not just bad, but extremely bad for everyone involved, especially those that failed to prepare. A perfect storm has arrived. Famine, war, chaos, and a cold, dark winter. And indeed, this is going to be a cold, dark winter. And it really bothers me to say that, because you know what? I know that it's true. I know that this winter, a lot of people, not even a lot, millions of people are going to suffer. And a lot of those people are going to be children. Children that did not have a choice. Children that are just there because of the circumstances that others have created around them. and they will suffer, and many people will perish, and many people will perish in a bad way, either because they're too cold or either because they're starving. Now think about that. If you're not preparing, if you're not getting ready for what's coming, then ladies and gentlemen, I have to say I'm sorry for you. But the white horse with the knight in shining armor is not coming for your rescue. That magical unicorn that we love to imaginarily see flying across the sky, farting rainbow dust, is not coming for your rescue. Wake up and understand that it is you and only you that you can rely on in order to secure your family's future. If up to this point, with everything that's happened, you cannot realize that it is up to you, then you are doomed. And that's just the way it is. You want to call it fair, you want to call it unfair, it doesn't matter what you call it, because the outcome will still be the same. And that is that people will starve and people will die of cold because they don't have enough money to feed the monster. This article is by Mark Salvo, and he starts off by saying the UN's World Food Program Executive Director David Beasley is saying the perfect storm has arrived. This is not me saying this, ladies and gentlemen. This is not me. I'm just reading it. This is not me saying it. You may want to pay attention, especially for those of you that are always looking to authority. Especially those of you that if someone who's talking is not wearing a suit and is not working for a mainstream media outlet making a few $1 million a year, if it's not those people that are talking, it doesn't matter. So this is not me talking. This is the director of the World Food Program. And like I said, every once in a while, you better listen to what the UN has to say, because they're telling you what's coming down the road. Because they have to be in a position where they can say, hey, we warned you. But are you paying attention? A perfect storm on top of a perfect storm, he recently said. He is urging people to donate to the UN. And this is what I don't understand, is that the problems that we have is like what I would like to call mechanical problems, right? Like, for example, I've got mechanical problems inside of me that they really can't get fixed. So it is what it is. So is it going to get fixed if you give me $1 million? Are my tears, are my biceps, are all that stuff inside of me, are they going to get fixed if all of a sudden you give me $1 million? It's going to be like, okay, here you go, $1 million. All right, they're fixed. The problems that we have are farther reaching than that money can fix. You can print all the money in the world, but are you going to bring back up that Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2? Are you going to bring it up so that it can start feeding industry, so that it can start heating homes again, so that it can bring down the price of fuel, which escalates the price of food when it's up, so that they can start making fertilizer again for next year? Is money going to fix that? I hate saying that it's too late to prepare. In all honesty, I don't think it's too late to prepare. But eventually it will be too late to prepare. And a lot of people are going to get stuck on the sidelines wondering what in the heck just happened. And he says that these donations, he would like them to particularly come from billionaires, asking them to give a few days of profits to tackle a crisis with the fertilizer supply right now and prevent widespread food shortage next year. Again, what in the world is money going to do when what we have right now is a resource issue? Right now, what money will do, what more money will do, is make the price of everything go even higher. That's what money will do right now. It is not going to solve the crises, or it's not going to solve the problem of there not being enough, either in the now or coming forward into the future. Money will not solve that problem. What it will do is it will exacerbate the problems that people are already having trying to afford to eat, trying to afford to heat their homes. So I don't understand why it is that they keep asking for more money. when money is not fixing the problem. How much money has the world printed in the last couple, 3 years? Let's talk about the United States alone. Just in the last 2.5 years or so, the United States has almost doubled what it's had in the entire time that the United States existed. Meaning that in the last couple of years, the U.S. has printed about 50% of all of the money that has ever existed. It's not going to fix anything except to transfer your wealth from yourself onto someone else who really doesn't need it, or someone else who really didn't earn it. That is all that it will do. Money is only a tool. It's not going to fix a resource problem. It's just going to make it worse, making it harder for you to obtain those resources through your labor. And he continues to say here, listen to this, yet this chaos isn't going to affect the ruling class. Those at the UN or the billionaires he thinks are going to help, it's not going to affect them at all. And that is 100% true. You will never see a politician wear a dirty suit during an economic downturn. You'll never see them wear a dirty suit or not have enough to eat during a time of war. You can take a look at any world war that's happened. You can take a look at any war period that's happened, and you take a look at the politicians or the leaders, so they're called, of those countries. Are they in rags? Are they malnourished? Are they needing medical attention? Are they drinking dirty water? Absolutely not, ladies and gentlemen. It will not affect the billionaires and the elites and the ruling class. It will only affect you, the working person, the person that earns a wage in order to make a living. And carrying on here, ladies and gentlemen, Beasley said that when he took over the WFP 5.5 years ago, only 80 million people around the world were headed towards starvation. And he says, quote, I'm thinking, well, we can put the World Food Program out of business, end quote. But instead, we can see the writing on the wall, and we know that this was all planned. And he continues to say they can blame all of these things, but crushing the food supply chain has always been a necessary part of the overall permanent enslavement agenda. People will do anything to feed their starving children. And it's what I don't understand. It's what I don't understand about those people out there. And if you're one of them, please listen. It's what I don't understand, how you talk bad about people that want to be prepared to make sure that their children don't have to starve. It's about you demonizing those people that are actually being responsible, and instead of using their resources, instead of using their accumulated wealth to go out to Starbucks every day, to go on vacations every 3 months, to do whatever it is, they use those resources that they earned in order to be better prepared for anything. And in a way, it's really no one's business what anyone spends their money on. I could care less if you go to Disney World and spend all your money. I could care less if you go into debt to go to Disney World. But why should you have to care about anyone else does, about what anyone else does, in order to make sure that their family is secure in a time that is uncertain, such as now? So you should start looking at yourselves in the mirror and asking yourselves, what am I doing and what will I do when the day comes that I can't feed my children? Because that day is going to come for the unprepared. And you know who they're going to rely on? First, they're going to go to government, and then eventually government's not going to be able to feed everyone forever. Then they're going to come knocking on your door because you had the forethought to actually get prepared. Then what are we going to do? It's like I said, it's better for a building of 100 tenants that everyone in that building be prepared than for only one person to be prepared. Because when everyone is prepared, you can go ahead and divert your energies to doing other things that will bring prosperity to those people within that building. But when only one person is prepared, the other 99 apartments, they're going to be knocking on that person's door. And there may be enough food in that person's apartment who was prepared maybe to feed everyone 1 or 2 meals. And then what? We will all starve together. Right? That's why I've always said that being prepared, the more prepared that a nation is on an individual basis, the better that it is for the nation as a whole. And Beasley continues to say, there are about 50 million people in 45 countries knocking on famine's door. If we don't reach out to these people, you will have famine, starvation, destabilizations of nations unlike anything you've seen before between 2007 and 11, and you will have mass migration. This year, Beasley said, the war shut down grain shipments from Ukraine, a nation that produces enough to feed about 400 million people, and sharply curtailed shipments from Russia, the world's second largest exporter of fertilizer and a major food producer. Winter is approaching, ladies and gentlemen, and this one looks like it could be one for the history books. With a historic shortage of staples and fertilizers, crop failures, food warehouses going in flames, and war advancements, chaos could be an understatement. We have to be ready for anything that these psychopaths throw at us. Now, whether you believe that they're psychopaths or not, it really doesn't matter. Do you believe that your children should be fed? Do you believe that anything can happen that's out of your control that will take those things that are necessary for you to live, and or as simply as for you to continue to live the standard of living that you normally live? Do you believe that there are things out of your control that can happen to take away those things from you? And if you do, it's very simple. Start getting prepared for what's coming this winter and also for what's coming next year. All right, ladies and gentlemen, because that's the only way we can stay ahead of these things. That's why I get on here and say, hey, look at what's coming 3 months from now. How many times in the last several months, I think I started touting this in March of this year, did I say, I'm getting ready for next winter? And hot dog, when I started saying that, I think there was still snow on the ground from last winter. I said, I'm getting ready for this winter because I see what's coming. And I've been getting ready. Today I have to go and get some more propane because thankfully I found a place where the price is below $4 a gallon, believe it or not. Thankfully. And it's not normally the place where I get it from, not my favorite gas station. Their prices just went straight up, almost doubled. I think they're above $6 a gallon. The last time I checked, they were above $6 a gallon. And I think I did a video on that. Well, I found a store in town. It's called a Holiday, Holiday gas station. And they're under $4 a gallon. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Because I was in there yesterday. Because the day before yesterday, I told my wife, I says, we need to go pick up a couple more propane tanks. They still have them. And although they're about 35% more expensive than they were last year, just a tank alone. I said, they still have them. I still have room for 2 more big tanks. We should go ahead and get them and fill them up so that we can have them. And that's what we did. And I'll be filling it up later on today after I drop my daughter off at school. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I can ramble on and on. I'm going to go ahead and put up a second video today on something that, man, I'll tell you what, we just keep getting hit from left to right. And people just concentrate on all of these factors that really have nothing to do with the final outcome. Like, well, this happened because of sabotage. Well, this happened because they're messing around with the weather, right? And I'm not telling you that that's not true. I'm not saying that the pipelines wasn't sabotage. I think they've actually came out in the news and said that it was, right? But what does it matter to you? Stop looking at what's happening in the very now and ask yourself, how is this going to affect me 3 months from now? With Hurricane Ian, everyone's talking about, well, this is weather manipulation, this is weather warfare. What if it is? Okay, let's say that it is. How is it going to affect you 3 months from now, a year from now? Absolutely, we should be thinking about the people there and helping them. I just talked to Great Man Prepping yesterday, and thank goodness he came out of this pretty much unscathed. Compared to a lot of other people, him and his family are safe, and pretty much he came out of this pretty much unscathed. A little bit of damage here and there, but he's got his health. His family has their health. They still have their possessions, thank goodness. Nothing was greatly damaged, and great. But what does it matter to the people that are sitting right there in Florida right now, whether this was weather manipulation or not? What does it matter to you on what the ramifications of that hurricane on the East Coast of what it's going to have in the next 3 months to a year, because there will be ramifications. There will be some things that are going to affect the entire country because of what's going on there, because of that storm. Having said that, I've probably made this way too long, but you know what? It's Monday. I hope that you're having a great day. I couldn't sleep. What time is it? It's 3:30 in the morning right now, so when I started this, it was about 3:01 or so. But anyways, this is what I do, ladies and gentlemen. I love coming out here and talking with you all, and I hope that you have a great day, and I hope that you take heed to the warning. Do your own research. Take a look at what's going on. If you're not prepared, I'll tell you what, then you're going to have good reason to be scared. Right? Because if you do prepare, you shouldn't be scared. But if you're not prepared, you will have good reason to be scared. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later on. God bless you all.